Uh, Hello everyone, and welcome back to EduTap. So guys, for all the aspirants who had been waiting for the result for phase one, the results are out, and I honestly hope that you made it to the second phase of this exam. So congratulations to all the aspirants who made it to phase two, and all the very best to all the aspirants who could not for the next exam or for next preparation. See guys, any exam is not the last step. It's not the last resort. There is still a lot more to do further. It's a learning curve for you. Please don't lose hope, and there'll always be more jobs, more exams in the upcoming time. So just just imagine this, that you must have learned a lot while this, and you cannot expect yourself to deliver in the first go, right? It doesn't happen that way. These exams, they take sometimes a lot of practice, a lot of learning, and fighting through the the pressure. So I hope you learned that this time, and I hope you will use it for the next attempt. And for those aspirants who've made it to phase two, congratulations once again. And this is high time you started preparing for your phase two, which basically comprises your FM ESI paper, and then second is your descriptive English paper. So we have been conducting these sessions. We took essay writing. We started with we did essay writing yesterday, and today we'll be discussing comprehension, reading comprehension passage. So hello Ajay, how are you guys? Did you appear for phase one? And if you did, were you able to make it to the second stage of the exam, or I mean, how's the result? How did you feel that, okay, if I'm doing this, am I doing this for my betterment, or just to judge myself, right? So the first step is better. The first choice is obviously better, that you learn for the betterment. So that's okay, Ajay. You did, it's not necessary that everyone makes it every time. Right, but you must have learned something from this, that okay, this is the mistake that I made. I should have done this better. I should have focused on this better. I should have started my preparation a little bit earlier. So use that learning for the next attempt, and that will definitely help you in the long run. Okay. So today in this session we will be discussing about how to attempt reading comprehension passage in your exam, which is again a very important composition in itself, and it takes a lot of time because you have to read the whole passage and you have to answer elaboratively. So let's jump into the session, guys. So this is the last and final stretch of the exam. So I would like to share some tips and tricks with you, that so that you can save your time and you can perform better. So the first and foremost trick is reverse reading. Now, what is reverse reading, guys? In exam, do not start with the passage, start with the questions first. The questions will definitely help you to understand what do you have to look for in the passage, and which section in the passage is important and which is not. So read the questions based on the passage before reading the passage. That is always a very important trick, right? So this will definitely help you in the long run. Always, even if you're trying it in phase one or phase two, should always start with questions, because it helps you in two ways. One, it gives you the central idea of the passage. Second, it gives you the important keywords that you have to look for. And third, and the most important is, if you read the questions first, you're not reading the passage as a story now. Now it becomes a mission for you. You know what you have to look for. So yes, so the most important part is to reverse read the passage. Good evening, bright future. So guys, we are discussing some tips and tricks on reading comprehension. So first read the question so that you know what you have to look for. Then while reading the questions, you have to mark the keywords in the questions and memorize those keywords, so that I'll give you an example. Let's say there are three questions given on the passage, and the questions goes like this. Number one is, what are the steps and measures taken by the authorities to revamp the rural economy of the country? Second, what projections can be made about the unemployment and underemployment scenario of the country? And question number three, let's say it goes, looking at the economic growth of India, can it be assumed that we can realize the goal of becoming a 5 trillion economy by 2025? So I think after listening to these questions, I can, sum up that the passage is going to be about, definitely about the economy of the country, economic growth. It would definitely discuss the rural backdrop of the country. It would definitely highlight the situation and the conditions of the poor in the country. There is, it would definitely discuss the underemployment and unemployment issue. It would definitely talk about the projected growth rate and becoming a 5 trillion economy. So I know all this just by reading these three questions, right? So if you get into the habit of that, now when I start my passage, I know what I have to look. I remember that I have to look for underemployment and unemployment. I remember I have to look for 5 trillion economy and is it doable or not. And third, have to find out that what steps and measures have been taken by the government to revamp the rural economy. So I know my keywords now. I know what I have to look. So that is how it helps you in saving your time, and you don't have to read the passage over and over again to look for your answers, right? So start making this habit. Start with this habit, reverse reading in reading comprehension, right? And mark your keywords as you read the questions. Now, try to recognize the main idea of the passage, as I just told you, as I just gave you an example, that look at the main idea, the central theme that will help you in presenting your ideas, right? In presenting your answers. Then know what to look for. As I just told you, before you start reading, you should know what you have to look for. And that is how it becomes very easy for you to figure out the answers in the passage and then draft the answers in your own words. Now, while reading the passage, look for the keywords marked in the questions. So whatever keywords you marked, look for those keywords consciously, right? While reading the passage, I have to just find my keywords and then I'll find my answer. Avoid getting stuck anywhere while reading the passage. That is very important because students do, get drifted thinking about this and that, and mark the important points of each paragraph. That will help you to relook or, find your answers at a later stage. So reading the questions before the passage is very important, marking your keywords, and then these tips and tricks will help you, to not panic in the paper, basically. Right. Obviously, the passages are long, and obviously you will have to type a lot, but obviously you will have to read the passage to type your answers. See, guys, you may know n number of things about the topic, but you cannot add anything beyond the context of the passage. Obviously, you can infer the answers from the statements that are given in the passage, but anything that is not even mentioned or not even related to the context of the passage cannot be added into your answers. So any information beyond the premises of the passage should not be included in this. So my strategy for this is, get into the habit of reading and then look for the sample answers that we have provided you in the course, that how to frame those answers. I'll give you an example today as well. In this session later on, at the end, we will read a passage and we will try to answer the questions. Okay. So just wait for that. But before that, I would also like to highlight a few things. Now, there are basically two types of questions that you may face in the exam. First are inference-based questions, where you have to infer the answers from the premises of the passage. These are tricky ones and require the candidates to understand the passage carefully to answer them. In such questions, a logical conclusion has to be made which perfectly fits that context and represents a particular fact aptly. Questions based on inference reasoning can be: what can be inferred from the sentence this particular, or what does the sentence this imply, or what does the author mean by this particular line or this particular phrase. So these are inference based questions that you may face in the exam. So what do you need to do in such questions? In inference based questions, candidates need to identify inference sources. You have to find where it has been inferred from, understand the context thoroughly, and you have to understand what it tries to convey, what it tries to, what is the message that is conveyed, or what is the message that the author is trying to get across to the reader. So that has to be understood. Now, if a particular sentence is given, read the entire paragraph and check for particular clues. Now, answering these questions can be easy if the context and idea of the entire passage are properly understood. So you have to infer something. For example, let's say they tell you that the sources of irrigation in India are very primitive, and we are yet to include the advancement of technology in this sector. So I have to infer from this statement that you know historically the agrarian economy of India has not been very sound, and one of the reasons is attributed to poor technology or poor inclusion of technology. If technology, and everyone knows that technology plays a very crucial role in the betterment of agriculture sector, and same is the case with Indian scenario. So due to lack of technology and technology upgradation, we are not able to justify the output of agrarian economy or agriculture sector of the country. And examples like drip irrigation, and these should be included to better use the potential of the country. So basically, guys, what I'm trying to do is I read one or two sentences and then I elaborated on the same line, right? I'm just stating whatever is obvious by inferring whatever has been conveyed by the author, right? So this is what is required in your reading comprehension answer. So one type of questions that you may face are inference based questions, and second type of questions that you may face in the exam are paragraph and structure based questions. Now, in RC section, questions might also be asked related to a particular paragraph or structure of the passage, right? These questions test the candidate's intuitive and logical sense. Some of the examples may be the measures taken by the organization in the passage can be best described as what. So you have to discuss, you have to elaborate what can be said about that. Or the second paragraph criticizes what, or the third paragraph describes what. So there could be questions based on whole concept or whole paragraph which may have to undertake in this particular articulation. Now, to solve these questions, candidates are required to comprehend each paragraph properly, not passage, paragraph properly, and keep the key ideas in mind. So this is important because you have to retain everything while you are reading it. So get into the habit of that. I hope you are doing it already. You are reading your editorials, you are reading your articles on a daily basis, and that would help you in the long run. Then it is suggested to pay attention to certain definite words like ironically, although, but, etc. Right? Because they basically, ironically, although, however, these words they change the meaning. So do look out for such words because they may, point you in the wrong direction. Now, these shape the idea of the passage and are extremely crucial to represent a particular passage. Absolutely. Right. So guys, make sure that you read the whole passage carefully and try to look for your answers as you go along, right? Don't write as you find the answer, just mark the answer and read the whole passage in one go, and after you have read the whole passage, then you sit down for your questions and then you mark your answers. Got it? So I know we have all done reading comprehension passages since we were kids, guys. Since we were in, I think, probably 7th or 8th class, we have been facing reading comprehension, but not like these. Why am I saying this not like these? Because what we have faced up till now is a multiple choice questions or one sentence based questions. But these questions are the descriptive English reading comprehension passages, basically about elaboration. See, guys, you have to understand the psychology of the question. Yesterday, while taking the session for Pressy writing, I told you that Pressy writing is about contraction skills, right? But in this articulation, reading comprehension, this is exactly opposite of Pressy writing. In reading comprehension, you have to elaborate. Okay, that is the psychology of the paper. In Pressy writing, they want to see if you can comprehend and contract the passage in your own words. And in reading comprehension, they want to see if you can locate the answers and if you can elaborate on the information that you have found or you have collected in the passage, and then frame it in your own words by elaborating it, by inferring the answers. So this is what needs to be taken care of in this particular section, right? So reading comprehension, again, very important type of composition, and you must prepare for this because you have to write at least 80 to 100 words per answer, which takes it to about 250 to 270 to 80 words. So this is basically, you're right, it's like writing another essay. So you're writing one essay for 350 words, you're writing 150 word Pressy, right? That makes it 500, and then you have to again write about 280 to 300 words in reading comprehension. So this is again a big chunk, and you need to be very careful with your time management. Now, moving further, guys, I would like to discuss with you 5 mistakes that I felt that students usually make in this particular section. So I wanted to highlight these mistakes, 5 mistakes not to make while answering comprehension questions. Number 1, as I've told you all along, grammatical, typing, spelling, or punctuation errors should not be made in this or in this particular paper at all, because every mistake will cost you marks. Please remember that. Many students ask me, sir, how do they judge? when everybody writes a different type of content, everybody has a different way of presentation, then how do they judge the answers? There's a simple there's a simple formula. First of all, start with mistakes. If you have made more than this many mistakes, you are already out of the race. So please make sure you do not make any grammatical errors, you do not make any typos, spelling errors, punctuation errors, because every error will cost you marks. Please remember this, guys. Second is, please maintain the word limit. Now, if you ask me, sir, is there a word limit for reading comprehension? See, guys, they have not prescribed any word limit per se, but what happens is, we have to do justice to the word limit, the weightage of the question and to the word limit. So let's say if there are 3 questions for 30 marks, that means every question is for 10 marks. So for 10 marks, you have to write at least 100 words. Let's say there are 5 questions for 30 marks. That means every question is for 6 marks. Then you have to write at least 50 to 60 words. So what is a simple formula to understand how much should you write for one answer? For 1 mark, this is a simple understanding. For 1 mark, you have to write 10 words. So now you can calculate on your own how much you need to write, right? And why is it? Why are they? Why am I telling you about word limit? Because see, guys, there is something called doing justice to the answer. There is a point of calling it a descriptive English paper, guys. Because in descriptive English, they want to see a description. See, if they just wanted you to, guys, please understand this. I'm highlighting this. If they just wanted you to find the facts from the passage, don't you think they would have just given you multiple choice questions like phase 1? I'm repeating it again, guys. Please answer me in the chat box if you understand me. That if they just wanted you to find the facts from the passage only, don't you think they would have given you multiple choice questions? But why are they calling it a descriptive English paper, and why are they asking you to type your answers? What do they want to see? You can just find the facts. No, if they want to see if you can find the facts, locate them, understand them, and present them in your own words. Now, guys, in reading comprehension, you can use as much facts, data, statistics, reports, any specific details that is given in the passage to support your answer. See, yesterday in Pressy writing, I told you not include any specifics from the passage. But today in reading comprehension, I'm telling you include every specific detail, every number, every data that acts as a supporting statement for your answer. But don't copy paste anything. See, if they've mentioned that the government has allocated 10,000 crore rupees for the upliftment of the rural economy, use this. But in your own words, that a huge sum of 10,000 crore rupees has been designated or has been assigned to the rural economy of the country for the betterment and upliftment of this sector. So I'm saying the same thing, but in my own words. So in reading comprehension, use your passages, use your specifics, use your specific details, numbers, stats, data, whatever is given. Use that as a supporting statement of your answer, right? And that will help you to elaborate your answer at the same point of time. So adhering to the word limit again is very, very important, right? Uh, Congratulations, Ashwin Iyer. Good to hear that. God bless you, dear, and I hope you give your best for phase 2, right? So guys, see, we are discussing how to attempt reading comprehension, and I hope this will help you. Now, guys, we are also running a crash course for the same. Now, you must be thinking who is there to evaluate our answers and who will help us to tell us that if we are in the right direction or in the wrong. So we have launched a crash course for the same, where we are providing you mock test for all the elements of this exam, be it FM, ESI, or descriptive English. We are providing you exact simulation of the paper with interface of the exam, and you will write your answers in that interface, and that will help you practice, and we will evaluate your answers for you, right? So you can come join us for your evaluation and for your practice if you wish to, right? The second mistake, please do not students think that, sir, if I'm writing 30 words or 40 words per answer, but my answer is correct, why did I score low? Because you did not elaborate it. So word limit is again a very important aspect of this. Third is copying text from the passage. This is again a strict no. You should not copy paste anything from the passage. You should not write it as it is. You should present it in your own words. That is why they are calling it a descriptive English paper, right? So as I told you, if they wanted you to just find the facts from the passage, they would have just given you multiple choice questions. But calling it a descriptive English paper makes, has some sense to it. So it would make a logical sense to you if you understand that why are they asking you to write your answers, type your answers, because they want to see your comprehension as well as your elaboration. When reading comprehension, you have to elaborate your answers. Got that? So please do not copy text from the passage. That this will lead to again deduction of marks. Fourth mistake that not to make in the exam is using information, opinions, assumptions not given in the passage. So guys, please make sure that you do not use any information that is not presented or that is not that cannot be inferred from the passage. Please do not use or do not add your opinions or assumptions unless it can be inferred, right? So see, if let's say they are talking about COVID-19, but they have not mentioned China anywhere in the passage. They're just talking about COVID-19 and what Indian government did against COVID-19. If you start writing in the answer that China is responsible for this and that, which is not even mentioned, that would be wrong. See, I know this is the reality, but you must understand the questions are strictly based on the premises of the passage, and that's what they want to see. You can read this and comprehend this or not. All right. So please do not add any information, any opinion, or any assumption into the passage or into your answer. Your answer should be strictly based on the premises of the passage. And last but not the least, please be relevant to the question, relevant to the answer. Because I have last time, it's funny actually. Last time, a student asked me in a session, sir, we heard from someone that they wrote something out of the context, something that was not even given in the passage, nowhere related to the passage, but they still scored well in this paper. So can we take up this strategy? So I would say that is not a good strategy, guys, and do not believe on these lies or rumors that go around. People do that. I know there are some sick minds out there who do that, who present these rumors. See guys, if these exams had, if they were checked this way, then anybody would write anything there and would get selected for it. So it doesn't work that way. You have to be relevant with your answers, right? So no grammatical, punctuation or spelling error or any error whatsoever. Follow the word limit, at least 10 words for 1 mark. So you can now calculate how much you need to write. Please do not copy paste anything from the passage. Again, do not add any information, context, assumption, opinion into the answer beyond the passage. That would be wrong. And please make sure that your answers are relevant, right? Now I wanted to give you an example that what you should do and how you should answer your passage in your paper. So I would like to discuss with you this passage right now, so that it helps you to understand that how and what you need to answer and how you need to prepare for this. Yes, Pavan, this is definitely important for NABARD as well, because NABARD descriptive English also has a similar type of articulation. It also has reading comprehension in that, right? RBI phase one result out, sir, but by what time can we see the marks? I'm not sure about that, Maddie. They have just given rule numbers for now. I'm not sure. They will be coming out with marks later on, but probably not today or tomorrow. Probably they will take about couple of days or probably a week or so to get out with the complete marks list. They have just given the rule numbers as of now. All right, Maddie? So guys, before we read the passage, as I told you, reverse reading, read the questions first, that you get a gist of the passage, right? So let's read the questions, guys. Discuss the current state of the Indian economy. So I think we are talking about Indian economy and we have to discuss the current state of Indian economy. Then second, describe how the government plans to revive the economy. So we have to find what steps and measures or what plans the government has in pipeline to revive the economy. And third is discuss the purpose of the author to write this article. Now this is an inference based question, right? Guys, I would like you to discuss this passage with me, and I would like you to see what level of answers and how to present your answers in the exam, so that you understand what is the definition and the requirement of this. So let's read the passage now. We understand the passage is about economy. We have to find out the plans for revival of the economy, what steps and measures have been taken by the government, what is the current state of Indian economy, and what is the purpose of the author. That is the gist of the passage, right? So let's read the passage, guys. India's economy is likely to grow 2.5 times to $7 trillion by 2030 from about 3 trillion now, making India the world's third largest economy. This implies that nominal GDP growth is likely to average just over 10% the next decade. Dutch bank said in a research report, Imagine 2030. The sharp slowdown in the recent years, despite Indian economy's promise over the last decade, is not indicative of what is in the store for the next decade, Dutch bank said. Now, despite its promises over the last decade, the Indian economy has slowed down sharply in recent years. This has led some to predict the decade ahead will be one of lower growth and frustration, that India's enormous potential will yet again go unfulfilled, the report said. So there are two versions of the report. One is says that it is expected to India to go over 10% over a GDP and become 7 trillion economy. But looking at the past, we can say it is a long shot, or people are basically they do not believe that due to the sharp slowdown in the recent years, that India will be able to get back and achieve that target, right? Now let's read further, guys. As far as India's economic growth is concerned, it may remain below potential in the near term. However, ongoing government measures will give major push to its potential in the future. So in the near future, it may remain low, but in the measures taken by the government will give it a major push in the future. So that's what it says. Let's read further. For starters, to offset the demand slowdown, the government took the bold decision in September 2019 to meaningfully cut the corporate tax rate. So this is one measure that has been taken by the government. This will likely incentivize greater foreign direct investment flow into the country and support private investment in the economy, which has remained weak over the last 8 years, the report said. Additionally, the Reserve Bank of India's decision cut the key lending rate by 135 basis points. So RBI's decision to cut the key lending rate by 135 points in calendar 2019 will revive the growth, the report said. Apart from these stimulus measures, reforms initiated in the last few years should also improve the medium-term outlook, it added. So, all right, up till now we have understood everything. Let's read further. As economies with significantly higher informal sector employment, such as India, typically have lower per capita income, policies which are aimed at greater formalization of the economy should help to accelerate per capita income levels, the report said. So he says countries like India, which have higher unorganized sector in the country, typically they have lower per capita income, but the greater formalization of the economy will provide the acceleration, the push needed to improve the per capita incomes. The report said reforms such as demonetization and rollout of GST, goods and services tax, are likely to play major role in formalization of the economy and will bear fruit in the next decade, the report said. While demonetization has resulted in incentivizing a faster pace of digitization, GST, by the very nature of its design, will expedite formalization of the economy and will consequently improve the fiscal and growth dynamics of the country. So demonetization and GST will help the country recover and get back on its feet. So last paragraph, demonetization and GST apart, India's bankruptcy law that came into force in 2017 will also help drive growth in the upcoming decade. Even our Reserve Bank's move to adopt inflation targeting and establish positive real interest rates in the economy will boost growth in the next decade, right? Now, Ajay, you can look at the links that are given in the description of the video if you want to join our courses, or you can call us on this number during the office hours that is given at the bottom of your screen, 8146207241, or you can also drop us an email at hello@edutap.co.in, or if you just want to surf, you can visit our website www.courses.edutap.co.in, right? Got it, Ajay? Please acknowledge. And now, guys, let's look at the answers for these questions. So what could be good answers for these questions? Properly elaborated without any exaggeration, but that's what we call a 10 marker answer. So let's look at the answers. Ajay, then again you can drop us an email, and our backend team will contact you. Please do mention your contact number in the email, and our backend team will contact you right tomorrow, right? And they will help you out with your issue. Got it, Ajay? Please drop us an email with your contact number, and our backend team will get in touch with you, and they will help you out. Okay. And apologies if that's the case. I think there must be some mix-up. it doesn't happen, that it doesn't happen, but if there is an issue, we will definitely sort it out. Okay, Ajay? All right, guys. So the answer for first question: discuss the current state of the Indian economy. The current situation of the Indian economy is a little bit shaky, right? The current situation, we are talking about the current state of the Indian economy. The current situation of the Indian economy. So this is an inference-based question, guys. The current situation of the Indian economy is a little bit shaky because of the recent slowdown in the economy, which resulted in the reduction of the momentum of growth. But revival is on board, and for making India third largest economy in the world, major reforms are needed. So he's talking both ways. He stated what has happened with the sharp slowdown in the recent years. We have faced some setbacks, but revival is on board, and for making India third largest economy, some major reforms are needed. However, some unprecedented and major schemes have been implemented, and many others are still under process. Although Indian economy is in recovering mode, yet some rating agencies have started some negative predictions about the Indian economy. They stated that as Indian economy is not up to the mark as had been promised at the beginning of this decade, and we assumed that as like this decade, next decade will also face a slow pace of growth in India. But India is on track of revival with many stimulus measures which have been taken not only by the government of India but also by the RBI. So he has not mentioned any factor data. He should have mentioned some supporting statements to provide, but yes, still this is the right answer, right? Then second question, describe how the government plans to revive the economy. Now the government is planning continuously the unprecedented steps to do the reform or to reform the economy, to do the reforms in the economy. For instance, demonetization and GST have been implemented, which are likely to play a major role in the revival of the economy. Especially demonetization has come as a force of multiplier for digitization in the economy. Similarly, the Indian bankruptcy code and corporate tax cut are providing proper support to businesses in India, which ultimately boost the FDI inflow and augment the private investment in the economy. Additionally, the government should also implement some schemes to boost the informal sector in which most of the Indian population is employed. This will increase per capita income. Along with these, the RBI has also provided better money flow in the economy by reducing lending rates. And since 2019, RBI has cut 135 basis points in lending rate, which is repairing the demand side slowdown. Also, inflation targeting has been adopted by the RBI, which will boost growth in the next decade. He has summed up all the steps that were measured, that were mentioned in the passage in one answer, in one paragraph itself. Right. So this is what we call good answer. And discuss the purpose of the author to write this article. Now, the main purpose is to describe the whole scenario of this decade as well as forecasting the performance of the upcoming decade by the Indian economy. The government of India aspires to augment the economy, and many great reforms have been implemented till now, and a lot is still required. The passage highlights some key points that provide a stable and healthy economic growth to achieve the target of becoming the third largest economy in the world by 2030. Now, it started with positive forecasts and later provided the negative facts of this decade, which halted the pace of economic growth in the Indian economy. But later suggesting some steps, it ended on a positive notes and showcased that despite facing many ups and downs in the years, India is regaining its potential and it might touch the 7 trillion mark for economic output by 2030. God bless you, Gaurav. I feel very happy that you've done well in phase one, and now let's start preparing for phase two. God bless you, and congratulations, Gaurav. Keep up the good work, dear. Now pull up your socks, pull up your sleeves, and give it your best. Okay? So, guys, that was it about reading comprehension passage. I know the emotions are running high today. The results are out, and due to that, many of you are very happy. Many of you may feel a bit dejected, but that is the part and parcel of this game, right? You win some, you lose some. So when you lose some, you learn from your mistakes, and then you win some, right? So that is my thought for today, right? Nothing is the end. Every failure comes with a every failure comes with a secret, and that secret is the door to your success, right? So keep on working hard, guys, and we are always there to support you in your journey. Now if you need us for anything at all, please feel free to contact us. You can call us on this number during the office hours, that is 8146207241, or you can drop us your emails on this address, hello@edutap.co.in, right? Guys, if you want the PDFs of these and many more sessions, you can join our Telegram channel, the link for which has been given in the description of the video. Guys, if do you have any doubts, do you have any queries, do you have anything to share or any inputs, any constructive feedbacks, please feel free to ask or please feel free to share now. Otherwise, I just wish you all the very best for your endeavors, and I'm sure, you know, God has something planned for you, right? So He has a plan for every one of you. So don't worry, the opportunity will knock one day, and you will make the best of it. So having said that, guys, I feel very proud to be associated with students like you who are the future of this country. To make India a 7 trillion economy, you will play a very crucial role, right? You will be working in RBI, SEBI, or these regulatory bodies, banking sector, which will help the country to reach the potential we anticipated 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and I would love to see that. So thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for your precious time, guys. Keep on working hard, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy learning to all of you. I'll see you again very soon. Uh, and if you wish to join us for your preparation for phase 2 for RBI Grade B, then come join us in our crash course where we are providing you mock test on simulation of the exam as well as evaluation. So that will help you in your preparation and that will give you a lot of confidence. So thank you so much once again, guys, and see you again.